Okay, to get slides up onto the screen, there's two things that we need to do initially. The first is to create a playlist. A playlist is a collection of presentations, which I'll explain in a second. And then the next thing that we need to do is to create a presentation that goes in that playlist. A presentation is a collection of slides. So playlists contain presentations, presentations contain slides. We have three categories that we've made of presentations. There are songs, there are pre-made packages of slides, and then there are services which are specific to the individual service. So let's go ahead and make a new playlist. We'll come up here and we will say new playlist. We can create them from templates if we're making one for the service, but we're just going to make a very basic one. New playlist. We're going to give it the date, October 26, 2025, and we'll call it the semi-annual meeting. Now that we've made a playlist, what we want to do is we want to create a presentation that goes inside of that. The first thing we need to do that is to create a new placeholder, and that placeholder will house a presentation.
How did you get to the placeholder?
You click on this plus. So we're selecting the playlist, and then within the playlist, these are the items that are within that playlist. So if you come up here and look at a service that we've made before, you see all of the presentations in an order that matches the order in Planning Ctr. So with the semi-annual meeting, we just need a single placeholder because we just have one set of slides. There's no songs or anything fancy.
So did you put that placeholder there?
Yes, I did.
How did you put it there?
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. Yep. So I click on the plus within the presentation, or sorry, within the playlist area, and say new placeholder.
And the placeholder means you got to have at least one slide.
Yeah, a placeholder is something that later on you can add a presentation to. Okay. So now I'm going to come up to the services. We need to create a presentation that goes inside of that placeholder. To do that, we're going to click up to the services. When we click on services, these items now show the different presentations that are available within the services. So when we're clicking on the playlist, it shows the items in the playlist. And then when we're clicking on the library, it shows the items in the library. Now when we click on a plus, instead of creating a new placeholder or header in the playlist, we're going to create a new presentation. So let's click a new presentation. And the presentations, I like to prefix with the date because it creates a unique presentation for that date. If we just said semi-annual meeting, we might overwrite the one that we had last year, right? Or if we said message, we might overwrite the one that we're planning to have next week. And so it's important to prefix it. I do it by year, month, and then day, because that way it sorts by year first, and then by month, and then by date. So I'm going to say here, semi-annual meeting. The theme that we select, I use Grace Bible Church's themes. That gives us a consistent look and feel. And what I want to do for this presentation is just create basically a blank slide. I have other items in the Grace Bible Church if I wanted to create, text for lyrics, or I wanted to create scripture verses, or the opener or closer, but I'm going to use a blank.
Okay, can I see how you got to the Grace Bible Church? Is it under the arrow there?
It's right if you click on this themed area.
Okay, so for now you just pick the blank slide.
Yep, and within themes, I select the Grace Bible Church theme. Okay. And within the Grace Bible Church theme, I select a blank one. And that just means that every new slide that we create is a blank slide. Okay. It's going to go in the services library and no playlist. Make sure that there's no playlist that it's being added to, because we want to add it fresh. So I'm going to click new.
So you leave the rest of them alone?
Okay. Good. So now we've created this new presentation. And what we want to do is we want to add that to the playlist that we just made. So we're still showing all of the presentations in the services area. And now what we want to do is we want to add that newly created presentation to the playlist. So we're going to go back to the playlist that we created, and we're going to click on this placeholder. And in that placeholder, When we have that placeholder selected and we come up to this magnifying glass search and click on it, it lets us look up any of the presentations. So I'm going to search for the presentation we just created by the date. It's another good reason why we use dates. And we see that we have the semi-annual meeting presentation that we just created. Now I'm going to double click on it, and it just added that to that placeholder. If for some reason I grabbed the wrong placeholder, I can right click on it and say unlink, and it would put the original placeholder back. Right, so now we have our new semi-annual with this default blank slide in there. And now what we need to do is we need to get the slides that we want to show inside of this presentation. There's a couple of ways that we can do that. The first is if we just had text that we wanted to add, I could come up to this edit button, and now I'm editing the slides that are in that presentation.
Can you show me that again?
Sure. I have the meeting selected, and I have the slides that we're showing inside that presentation. If I want to add more, I could come to this edit button, and now I'm going to edit the slides that are in that presentation. And if I click this plus button right here, it lets me add new slides. And here's where, again, I can choose the theme, and here's where I can choose if I want to have a default text item, like if I'm making just a point for a sermon or a lyric for a song, or I could add in scripture where I have the reference down at the bottom. But this is how I can add in new slides. And you see that when I selected it, it added it in there. If I right click, I can delete those. So once I have this presentation, adding new slides is as simple as this edit button, and then just add the ones that you want. The second way that we can add slides is we can drag them in from media that we've downloaded, like images. So I'm going to go, for this case, because we have slides that we've pre-made in Planning Ctr, I'm going to come over to Planning Ctr, and I've already logged in to my account, and I'm going to come to Services, and then within Services, I'm going to come to the date that has the slides that we want to add. In this case, it's for the semi-annual meeting, which is on the 26th. So I'm going to select that service. And down here in the Files area, if I scroll down in the left side, I see the presentation for the semi-annual meeting. And if I click on it, it will open up the Dropbox slides that has all of the slides I want to download. To get them, I'm going to download them by clicking on the download button. Continue at download only. There's no need to log in. That keeps it real simple for other people making the slides. They don't have permissions, but it does mean that the link has to be publicly available. Now that I've downloaded them, I'm going to come to Finder, which is like Windows Explorer. And when I come to the downloads, I see the presentation folder that I've downloaded. And you've done a great job labeling these. They each are prefixed with the date. They have a sequential list of numbers, and that means that we'll have a unique slide for that particular day, and it won't intersect with anything we may have done in the past. So I'm going to just click on all of these, and then I'm going to drag them in to my presentation within the playlist. And it adds all of them. We're almost there. The only thing we have to do is make sure that we designate which screens we want each of these to run on. To do that, we set something called a look on the slide. So what I want to do is I want to select each of these. And the first thing is I want to show them on the slide screen, not on the big center display. So the first thing that I need to do is, once I've dragged these in, is edit the media action and convert it to a slide. The slide element means that the way we have things set up, that it's going to show on the two side monitors. Media normally show on our main center display. And so we want to convert all of our media into a slide element. So we'll click that, and it does it. And then the next thing is we want to make sure that these are going to show up on the monitors on the side, but not on any other media. We should have this live stream turned off at this particular time, but just in case, we want to only show this internally. So once again, we right click on it, and we're going to add an action, and we're going to add something called an audience look. Within the audience look, blackout means it won't show anywhere. Everything means it will show everywhere. Standard means that it will show on the live stream as well as the monitors here. And then the house means that it only shows in the church, not in the live stream. Reference is a special look that formats it for verses for live stream as well as the house. Message point is a special one for when Adam wants to highlight like a point in the sermon. And then text is what we would usually use for lyrics. This means that it will show up in the lower third on the live stream and in the center of the slide in the sanctuary.
So you set those all up? Yeah.
I did set them all up. Yeah. And then CCLI is one where we use to show the copyright in the lower left corner in the on both the live stream as well as the monitors in here. The ones you really end up using are if you want to show on live stream, like the announcements, it's standard. If you want to show scripture, it's reference. And if you want to show lyrics for a song, it's text. And then if it's a message point, it's the message point. House is a special one. I usually use this for like dismissed children because we don't want the dismissed children to show up. I usually use the house one for whenever we're doing a special presentation, like something for VBS or something, because if somebody's speaking up front, we want to show the speaker on the live stream. We don't want to show the slide covering the speaker for 2 minutes while they talk in the background. But in this case, I'm going to select house because that's what we want. So that's it. Once again, I come over here to add action, audience look, and I would select house. Mm-hmm. Once the look has already been set, if I want to change it, I have to come down and select a different option. Usually you would have to remove all audience look and then re-add it. There's also a way of editing it, which I don't see right now. Okay, finally, the only other thing is this blank slide at the very beginning. I like to make the blank slide something that the slide presenters can click on that clears everything away. It just gives them a safety net to click on something rather than having to press anything else. So for this blank slide, I'm going to add an action, and I'm going to call it blackout. And that's it.
When you say the slide presenters present, you're talking about people back here.
Yeah, the slide operator, thank you.
Okay.
I've been trying to control my nomenclature.
Yeah. Add media action, and then what'd you say?
We add, so for this blank slide right here, add action, and then I usually like to set that to blackout at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Now, it's important to test the slides to make sure that they do what you want them to do. And to test the slides, there's two things that we want to check. We want to check what's showing in the auditorium, and then we want to check what's showing on the live stream. I can get a preview of what's showing in the auditorium by this area over here, and then by selecting the output here. So you see that it's selected to show the auditorium, and you see that I can show what's on stage, that center display, or I can show what's on the live stream. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that auditorium is selected here, and then I'm going to step through the slides. The first one is blank, as I expect. The next one shows that slide beautifully. And then I just go through each of these and make sure that they show on the slide, the auditorium, what I would expect to see. Everything looks wonderful. And I'm going to come back here to the blank one at the beginning. I click on it, and all the slides clear like I would expect because I set blackout. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to come down here to the live stream. And what I would expect to see on this, because I chose the house option, I would expect to see none of these slides showing on the live stream. And as I step through them, no surprises. And we did a perfect job.
Now, you said stage, but You're talking about center stage. I
Yes.
thought stage monitors were the two small ones in front of the pews.
Yes, we've changed those over time. Because ProPresenter only lets you designate a couple of different outputs, we used to have the stage set to be the front displays in front of the pews. But when we added in a media, we wanted to show media on that big display, we changed the stage one to be that big center display. So let me show you how to put something up on that. This is above and beyond. But if you look down here in this media area, which I can access by clicking this button up here, this bottom area shows me a separate set of slides that are available. These are the media slides. And down here we have playlists, just like we have playlists up here for media. If I look at concepts, I have a whole bunch of different ones that I might want to use. But for the unfinished business one, we just have this one. And if I click on it, the media starts to play. Now we're not seeing anything right here because we're showing the live stream and we don't want that media to show on the live stream. Likewise, if we select auditorium, we don't see anything because we don't want to show the media on the slide display, the two monitors on the side. We want to show it on the stage display. So if I click this stage right here, you see that that media action shows on the stage display. So this is what's going on in the behind the speaker and the musicians.
So the stage means two things.
The stage right now,
Media means stage monitors.
the media, the stage display right now is only hooked up to the large center display behind the speaker. It's not hooked up to the monitors that are by the pew any longer.
Oh, okay, so that's the large
Yes.
stage screen.
Yes, yes.
And that's where you can put in
Yep.
whatever you want.
That's right. So let's say that, so by the way, to clear everything from showing everywhere, if I click on this X, it clears all of the layers, right? So if I'm showing something in the auditorium and I want to get rid of it, I just click on this X right here. But you'll see that that will also clear the media, right? And so this is the slide layer, this is the media layer. If I hit this X, it will clear away everything. If I wanted to clear away just one of them, I can click on that and it will clear it away. This is something that the operators know. Again, this is above and beyond for your sake.
Could you make the screen bigger, full screen?
Sure.
Just as a video. There we
Yeah.
go, thanks.
The most important thing to remember is that from sort of just the large big picture stuff is that the slides show on the side monitor because the side monitors are set to display the slide layer, and the media down in the bottom area show on the big stage display in the back because the big stage display in the back is set to show the media layer. So that's a basic presentation. Building on that, it works pretty much exactly the same way. I usually like to add in a header that designates a category of presentations like music. So here I would just, to do that, I just add header, and then I usually like to add a color. I change the color and I use this tangerine one right here. And what that does is it just segments out that area. If you take a look at a playlist for a normal service, you'll see why this is useful. Because if you just have a bunch of presentations running together, the operator might accidentally go from the songs through the prayer to the dismissed children before they're ready to go. So that's where I like to segment out each of my areas. The good news is it's very easy to create these playlists for the service, right? We just did one from scratch and we built up a lot of machinery. But if I wanted to make a new one for a service, it's pretty simple. I come up here. I'm going to come to new playlist from template, and I'm going to say standard service. I see that the next one to create would be 7 days after November 2nd, which should be November 9, I think. I'm going to say rename November 9, 2025. And if you look here, it's created for me a default playlist that has the pre-service, the standard music elements, the standard prayer, dismiss children one, the standard message, and then the two music ones at the end. Michael will usually add his own music in. And so the thing that you fill out is the announcements at the beginning and the end, and then the dismissed children one right here, and then the message one. But you can see it's really easy, so we don't have to do all of that work all over again. And it gives you, basically the scaffolding for an entire service. And then you do the same thing for a communion service, right?
So if you want to adjust this, you right-click on it, you can delete a header.
You can absolutely delete a header. You can delete a placeholder by right-clicking. You can add new ones just like we did before, right? So really creating a default playlist from scratch is kind of I know that's like the basic level, but actually we rarely do it because most of the time what we're creating is a regular service. But if we had a wedding or a memorial service or a special presentation for like a WANA, we'd usually do it from scratch. And that's about it.
Well, let me ask you this. We have a service here for October 26th, and then we have a semi-annual meeting afterward. You would never combine those, right? You would just let the people break, and then when they're ready to get started.
Yes. I like to create a separate presentation for a sort of a separate service. So to me, a semi-annual is like an extra service above and beyond it, and that just gives you a real clean break. There's nothing saying you have to do it that way. That's just how I like to organize it. And I do usually like to label it. It just keeps it clear. You can see we have the missions conference right here with the one for the Saturday, followed by the one on the Sunday. And you can see other ones. By the way, we have an extensive archive going all the way back right here. So there's just ample examples of almost all the different kinds. And these are really good ones to follow. If you had to, you could take one of these and duplicate it and then just build it up from there. I tend to like to build it up from scratch just because then if I duplicate, I have to delete out the other presentations that are there. And if I forget to do that and I start editing it, then I'm editing what was already there before, and then we've lost what was done. People have done it before. It's not the end of the world. But if I duplicate the service for next week and thinking I'm adding one for 2 weeks out and then I begin changing it, well, now I've changed next week's too.
What would be the value of having something that's months old?
Just an archive of what we've done. I rarely use it, but if we ever wanted to go back, like next year when we have to create a VBS, it's useful to see what was done before. Because usually we solved a bunch of problems in creating it. So when we did VBS this last time, you can see how extensive it is. This just gives us, that's what we did for the theme verse. That's what we did. It just lets us see what we did before, but there's no saying you have to do it that way. If you want, you could have nothing more than the current upcoming service and change it. But I think there's an advantage in building them ahead of time and then also keeping the examples of what we had done before. So that's all in the archive, and I closed the archive folder just so it doesn't confuse our operators.
Cool.
Other questions?
I have questions that are unrelated to what you just showed us.
Keep recording then?
Yeah. So on the media here, if we wanted to put a different slide on there, okay, so I would create a playlist and call it something different, right? But so this is what you're going to display for all the services then on that back screen?
It is right now, but we've been trying to change it based upon either the service or the sermon series. So when we did like the Beatitudes, I can't remember if, I'm not as disciplined with creating the playlist because we're kind of just getting going with it. But we had a bunch of different backgrounds that we did for over the summer. You remember the bridge one?
I remember that. Yeah.
Right. And so it works kind of like the playlist where you're able to just drag them in here. And once they're dragged in here, if you click on them, then they show on that center display. But we're still finding our rhythm. Doing it every week is nice in that it brings variation, but it's a lot of extra work. I think probably the sweet spot is doing it one per sermon, per sermon series. So like, or season. So right now we're in the fall. You have your fall themed one, your winter themed one. or maybe your unfinished business theme one, your Beatitudes. We could do it that way, but we sort of have been doing it each one right now.
So some of these media are like 30 seconds and then it just repeats, in other words.
Yes, it does. And so, okay, so to get that, that's a great...
30 seconds, I
Yeah,
meant.
that's a great thing. So if you select the media and you right-click on it, you're going to get this various kinds of behavior where you can put it on loop, right? And stuff like that. But there's an important one that gives you all of the abilities. It's called the inspector. The inspector basically is like your properties for that media. And so if you look and you're showing a video, you want to make sure that you're looping it, right? Because if it's the media, you don't want to all of a sudden go black after 30 seconds. But if you're showing a presentation in the on the slide level, in which case your media would be in the top slide area, you might want to click on stop because you don't want to play, a Compassion International video again and again. You want to stop when you're done. So the inspector is the thing that gets you control. It's also where you can control your audio levels. One of these does it. Sorry, this one right here. Wait a minute. Oh, this isn't an item that has audio, so it's not there. But sometimes you'll see an extra audio item up here, and you can adjust the audio levels.
And you can darken whole image, so it's real.
Yeah.
Now, you don't usually have moving backgrounds when lyrics are being read, do you?
No, but if we wanted to, we could absolutely do that. So right now, we put the lyrics up on the center display. So what we're doing when we do that is we're taking the the text from the slide layer, and we're putting it on top of the media layer, and we're combining both of those and then sending it to the stage display. Right now, we have the media layer. We don't have it showing the media background on the two slide displays, but we could do that by setting something, by basically changing the configuration for what shows on the slide. If we change the thing called the look up here in view, there's this thing, under screens, it's called looks. If we edit looks, we have the look that goes for the lyrics, which is this text one. And you can see that on the stage, we have media checked and slide checked. So this is what's showing on the stage display, but on the auditorium, we're not showing the media layer.
Or the live stream.
That's right. If we wanted to show that pretty background on the slide display, we would just click on that one and it would show. The reason that we have it turned off right now is because we're feeling our way out with these backgrounds. We've explored putting the media on the center display, and we haven't really decided if it makes sense to do it on the slide display. Do we want to duplicate it or not? The second thing is,
some people may find it distracting, right?
Well, that's exactly it. And if because the lyrics we try to make the lyrics show up well above the media on the center display. But if for some reason they're not readable, or we didn't do a good job making it clear enough, at least on the slide display, we don't have anything that's going to interfere with the text. And so it's a practical approach right now. The other thing is we don't want the media to be distracting. Media, we will often choose a still image, but if we choose an image that moves around a lot, it can be distracting. So we try, if we do movement, to only do ones that have real subtle movement, a very gentle swaying of leaves, or maybe some fuzz in the air. But you can, some of these videos, they have like these, you're like flying in an airplane. And I think that would be distracting. Sorry.
I can't reach that.
Yeah. So again, we could put media on the slide, but again, I think right now it strikes a good balance between having a tasteful background with the lyrics above it, but also a practical, clear approach that doesn't get in the way of reading the text
Yeah, I like
the
that.
other.
Now, let's say you decided that the CCLI text was too small and nobody but except people in the front row can read it.
Yes.
You would edit a look, right? I assume.
Okay, so that's a great question. So let's go and do that. So I'm going to select the placeholder for this particular date, and I'm going to click on the CCL eyes slide, right? And what I've done is you can see that there's a look that has been selected for that, right? Which I can add. You can see that the CCLI look has been affected. So if I come over to the screens and I edit the looks and I come down to CCLI, what I see is what themes are applied. The theme is going to determine what actually shows on the slide. So I have the CCLI look selected to show for that slide. And on the live stream, I have applied a particular theme. But in the auditorium, I have not applied a theme. And what that means is that what I actually see on the slide is what will show. If there's, for a given look, if there is no theme that is selected for the screen that I'm showing on, which is indicated by this circle with a slash through it, it means that there's no theme that overrides the display, which means that what I see here is actually what shows. Okay, so if I wanted to edit the size for that, I would come over here to edit. I would come down here to the CCLI and I would grab this. And if I come over here to this text and then I change the size, it actually changes it. Right? Now, the annoying thing about that is, what if I like the change that I've made? Do I have to go through every single slide to do it? That's where, if I don't want to, I could make a theme for it. The way I would do that is I would come over here to this theme editor. I'm going to go back to show. I'm going to come over here to the, more theme editor. And if I come to the theme editor and I go down to the CCLI, okay, I have a CCLI for the stage, and I have a CCLI for the live stream, and I have a CCLI for the auditorium. What I would do is I would edit the theme for the auditorium by increasing the text size here. Okay, I can make it nice and big.
Theoretically, but it's not changing.
Yeah. And then, and then what I would do is I would go back to my looks and I would come to auditorium, and instead of making this blank, I would apply that particular theme. I would come down and select the CCLI auditorium, and now it would override all of the auditorium. The reason that I haven't done it that way is because if you don't know that this is what's happening, I'm going to remove that theme. If you don't know that that's what's happening, and you're the person who's making the slides, and you're coming here and you're editing the size here, and then it doesn't change on the main display, you're like, what is happening? And it can be very confusing. So the way I've made it is I've made it so that for the auditorium, that there's no theme that overrides the look of the slide. I felt that if you see something right here, that should be the thing that you see up on the main one. That way, if you drag things around, that's what you're gonna get. But the trade-off is that if you change it for one, it only changes it for that one, not the rest of them. But there are times that we do use those overrides, like on the live stream. I don't want to make it so that what's in the auditorium shows in that one. I want it no matter what, it shows in the lower third. And so I have a live stream one that takes the whatever people have done for the auditorium slide and puts it in that lower third area. Really, really good questions. These are advanced configuration stuff.
Yeah, maybe you got the video beyond what it needed to be.
But no, that's okay though, because at least you have it captured now with the knowledge. You can cut it off for me. But that's the underlying nuts and bolts of how we make it so that when somebody who's making the slides types in one thing, it shows in the lower thirds.
What's going on here? That little thing is going over.
Yeah, because it's continuing to show the media.
Oh, you have to do that layer. Click the media layer and you will see it moving around.
So now, if I were to go show you this stage right here.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, the media is actually playing. It's really hard to tell in this, but you can see like the little glittering of the.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a movie. I didn't know it was a video.
Yeah, and you don't have to. You could put a still in there and just pause it. We'll clear it away, and you see what happens on the stage display. It goes away, just like we said it would. Good. Other items.
Well, this was supposed to be enough knowledge to do catastrophe.
You're above and beyond the catastrophe.
Yeah.
The catastrophe was creating the semi-annual business meeting.
Oh, yeah, okay.
What we did from that
Right.
one, from the start. It basically is a single presentation inside of a playlist where you drag some slides in, convert the slides over to a slide element so they show on the side display, and then set the look to house. And if you want to show on the live stream, set it to standard. That's it. The catastrophe for the service is to create a playlist from the templates, either communion or standard,
Right.
and then to just drag in the songs. That's the bare minimum. You just say, hey, we don't need to have message, we don't need to have announcement. One thing I did do that makes the announcements kind of nice is if you wanted to add this slide right here, rather than having to always drag it in right now, I made it so that you can make this from a template item. You come over here to the edit, and then you added it in, and now it adds it in. So really just creating a presentation, not even dragging in anything. Okay.
All right, thank you, Aaron.
Absolutely. You guys are a good study.
If you can teach us stupid people, huh?
Oh, you're not that. You're not that. I think you guys got this. Honestly, once you do it once or twice and just take a look at what's showing on the stage display, the big one in the middle, and then the two slide displays, that does wonders. Even now, when I create something, I will step through all the slides just to make sure that everything is showing the way that I want. By the way, if you want a really quick way to do that, over on this monitor on the side, we have what's showing on each of the different areas. So you can see on the program,
That's what that is.
this is the
Okay.
live stream. You can see that we have the lower
yeah,
thirds here. And you basically see what we see at each of the displays. So here's what's showing on the program, which is again the live stream. See the lower thirds. You see what's showing on the slide computer, which is what goes onto the slides on either side, the two side monitors. And then you see what's showing on the video computer, which is like the stage one. These two ones down here are information that our video switcher uses to build this lower third.
Oh, yeah, selects
So they're
one
kind
of
of
the various
redundant, yeah.
cameras.
So what I will do is, if we just come to this upcoming, let's go to the service from October 5th.
Kathy, can you see?
Yeah, I'm fine.
So just as sort of a sanity check, up here at the very beginning, yep, on the program I want to show the So Glad You're Here. I want to show that on the slide computer. I do not want to show it on the video computer. And I'm just going to start hitting the next arrow. Blank slide should clear away everything. Then I should see the lower third title in the lower third, but not on the center display. And then I should start seeing, okay, here's the lyrics. Yep, lower third in the center, like we'd expect on the two side monitors. And then in the very top area, up on the video display. Right, and of course we use a look to get it that way. And then I just start going through real quick. What you don't want to see is if something goes wrong, usually what you'll see is all of a sudden you'll see either a black box with no lyrics in the middle, or you'll see the lyrics emblazoned across the center of the live stream display. So if you've done something wrong, it's very, very easy to see. You just I should expect it to more or less behave nicely the whole way. And then the other thing is when I make it test all of the songs into the dismissed children only show on the side display, don't want to show it on the live stream. And then for Adam's sermon notes, you want to see again in the lower area, and then the reference you want to see with this scripture reference right above here. We put it above there because on the live stream there's a play bar down below, and we don't want this verse to, we used to do it down in the bottom area, but we've designed the theme so that the control that plays down in the bottom doesn't mask out the text or the reference, and that's why we've done it that way.
So if you're watching a replay of it, you could fast forward by hitting those controls.
Yeah.
And so those controls are useful there.
Yes.
But we didn't want them to wipe out the
You don't
reference.
want to wipe it out. Yep.
Now you call them the slide computer over there, but in a sense, couldn't you call that the side ones?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Over time, different displays and computers have served different purposes, and we haven't bothered to go back and rename all of them. Like, you know, that's why, like, okay, the stage display, those are the confidence monitors, but I guess stage does make sense for the big center display. But you're right, like the video computer versus the slide computer, we call it the video computer because the video computer used to be the computer over there, and that was how we used to show the big center display until we made it so that you could show it from this one, because it was a whole separate thing to load slides in that one. It's like, why not just make it controllable from here? The risk is that the slide operators will accidentally clear it away, but they've learned more or less to avoid that and how to recover. So really now that other computer is the live stream one like this, but yeah.
Now if those are called let's see, where's this? Just down here you have a stage computer. Is that the stage monitors by the pew monitors?
You mean slide computer?
No, I'm talking about this one here, stage, because I'm confused about the word stage.
Yeah. So the stage computer and the video computer, I remember, yes. So the stage computer, sometimes we have a presenter that wants to show slides from the computer from the stage, like when we do a Sunday school class. And so we have a video feed that used to be hooked up before we hooked up the center display. We keep changing things around. So we used to have a video tap in that front box. You can see the one that's in the very front of the stage. The one that's on the right, if you open it up, there's a red box inside there. And that red box used to be hooked up to what is now the video computer feed. And when we had that, somebody on stage could take their laptop and hook it into that red box, and then they could show their slides just from their computer up on the stage. We don't use that capability very often, and when we needed a new video feed for our projector, that was the one that we used. The reason that we have to do that is because ProPresenter only allows us, it's not ProPresenter, the box that ProPresenter is hooked into only has a certain number of video feeds, 4, and we're using 2 of them for the live stream, and then 1 for the slide, the other for the video. Oh, and then the other thing I should mention, and this is the other reason, is we only have so many cables that go back and forth, and when we needed a cable for the projector, we ended up using the one under the stage rather than running a new one. It was easier to take that one. I should run a new one eventually, but the wiring is complicated right now, and it was easier when we had that stage for VBS to use that cable from under the stage that was originally the stage computer. So you're very much, if it seems like, well, wait, it used to be this, it is. It's because we change things around based upon what the needs are, and it's a juggling act of resources and time.
I think that's normal. What I'm still not clear about, and this is not a catastrophe thing, but when we want to put something on the monitors in front of the pews, how do we make that happen?
Great. So the monitors in front of the pews show the same thing that the 2 side monitors show right now. So when I'm showing any of these slides that are showing on the main monitors on either side, they are also showing on the 2 confidence monitors. So the person on stage sees the same thing.
All
right. How is that configured? To do that, I would have to show you the video switcher.
Well, right before you get to that, there's a monitor right above your head.
Yes.
Is that always showing the same thing as the side monitors?
Yes. This monitor right here, we would consider a confidence monitor, just like the ones in front of the pews.
Because the singers can see it, or players.
And we're showing the same thing on that one as we're showing on the other.
I would have thought that the conference monitors up front might have had larger font, so to make sure the singers can read the words.
It turns out that we made the lyrics visible from the farthest pew in the
Oh, yeah,
back.
okay.
So when we did tests, the size that we chose was based upon viewing from far
they
back.
should have been able
so
to
when
see
you're up
this.
on stage, you can see them quite clearly.
Okay.
The other thing we're trying to do is simplify the work. We experimented with using the confidence monitors to show separate things like notes for Adam. And it caused two problems. The first problem was a lot of extra work configuring. We had to take his notes and make it so that when a person clicked on this slide that it would show the right note, and keeping those synced up was troublesome.
Yeah.
The second thing we discovered is the person giving the talk would sometimes rely a little bit too much on it and would read it. And it created an undesirable viewing angle for the eyes. They would not be looking out at the congregation, nor would they be looking down at their notes. It would make them look like they were kind of like tired and disengaged.
Oh, yeah.
Their eyes would sort of like decline down about 20 degrees, and it didn't create a very good look. So we decided, why all the extra trouble? Just use your notes, right? For the singers, we've been trying to eliminate. I have been trying to eliminate the confidence monitors, but we still have some people that like to use them. It helps them in a pinch. This one back here is just a little bit too small for them. Personally, I think that with the music stands, that we have a lot of places that we're showing the lyrics. I would really like to see our worship team move over to having the music memorized. We sing these songs again and again. The stands, in my mind, create a barrier between the musicians and the audience, and I think that there ought to be a connection. We're celebrating the Lord together. So I guess in that world, maybe the confidence monitors make sense. But right now, we're overkill on the resource. It's like you have it in front of you, you have it off to the side, you sing it again and again. But that's the way it rolls.
I have another question here. Once upon a time, a year ago, I mentioned that one of the songs had a typo in it.
Yeah.
And it was Beautiful One.
Yes.
It should just have said Beautiful One, but it says Beautiful One, I love you. And the word you should not have been there. How did you make that change?
Okay, so if you come up here to songs, and we're going to come to, what's the name of the song?
Beautiful One.
Beautiful One.
Yeah.
We're going to click on that, and then we have all of
the words,
the slides, right? There's two ways of editing the slides. Sometimes if you see a small change right here, you can right-click and do this thing called Quick Edit, and it will let you just edit it in place. This is good if you see like it's plural and should be singular, there's just like a small spelling error in there. But it can get annoying editing quickly. So what I do is I come over here into the edit.
Oh, nice and big.
Yeah, and then here you just you double click on the slide that you want. So let's go look for Beautiful One I Love.
You're right there.
It's right there. Beautiful One I Love, Beautiful One I Adore. And you see that it has not been changed.
Yeah, okay. I thought
you know, it's funny.
After we
I thought it had been changed because I had this as an item in my notes forever. And I came in here and I checked it and I thought for sure that it was changed. I thought you had come in and changed
I wouldn't have known
And
how.
so obviously it was such a subtle error that even in reviewing it to see if it was there, I missed it. Okay, so Beautiful One I Love, Beautiful One I Adore, and we have just brought closure to that one.
It changes it everywhere.
It changes,
Well,
yes,
all the ones, but there might be multiple slides that say that.
there might be. So let's just do a quick wonderful. Okay, so we're just going to come over it. Where's Beautiful One I
that's
Love,
fixed.
Beautiful One I Adore, Beautiful One My Soul Must Sing, Powerful. Okay,
So
and then
that's the end of it?
this text slide is still there. I'm going to just, if it says text, it doesn't mean that text is there. It puts it there so you know that you need to edit it. So this isn't actually there, but it's a box that isn't needed. Okay, so it edited it for that one slide, but Kathy, you're like, well, is it going to change it everywhere? It turns out it will. So watch this. If I come back to this slide, I see that I have this chorus in there multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
So how is it that it edited it for each one? If you come up here, just like playlists are collections of presentations, a presentation can have what's called an arrangement, which are collections of slides. So here it shows you all of the slides that are available, and then you see how we're reusing the chorus multiple times. That way, instead of having to re-type in the chorus again and again, if we want to just add another chorus onto the end, we just drag it in. but it's reusing the first chorus that we created.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the other good thing is because playlists are collections of presentations, every time a playlist has beautiful one in it, because it's reusing the same presentation,
It'll be fixed.
it will be fixed.
In the
This
future.
is why ProPresenter builds things up with playlists being collections of presentations, because they realize you want to reuse the same song and have it change every time you change the song in there. So now that we've done it, it is now retroactively changed it, and no one will ever know that that error was there
Thank you.
unless they watch the live stream and they see it there.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about arrangements.
Yeah. Okay. So when we first create a song, it works much the same way as we do for any of the other songs, any of the other presentations. We would first come here to the songs area, and we would click on this plus button, right? And we could say new presentation, and we could give it a name, and we could build it up that way, right? So if we just wanted to start from scratch, like we had a hymn book, we would build a presentation and add it as normal, okay? But a lot of times we want to import songs that have already been made. So to do that, if I come up here to this search, you see that I have a search for all of the presentations inside of ProPresenter, but you see that we have this other search button right here for
SongSelect.
SongSelect, exactly. So what I do is I click on this, and usually if we enter a CCLI or a song, let's say Holy, Holy, Holy. Okay, it should be pulling that up. Sometimes it becomes disconnected and it makes me log in. Okay, that worries me a little. Let's see, beautiful. All right, oh, there we go. Okay, so we see beautiful one, and if I click on this, beautiful, now we know how we got the error.
They did it.
We imported it from
SongSelect.
From
that has it wrong.
SongSelect. Beautiful one, I
Interesting.
love you.
All right.
Okay, so you see that there's a bunch of songs that have beautiful in there. I could search by the CCLI number. So if in Planning Center, Michael selected the song and it wasn't in the songs that we already had, I could enter in the CCLI number here and it would pull up the exact one. But if we don't know the CCLI, I could search by the title and click it here. When I select this, I'm going to do it because it won't overwrite the other one. I'm going to click on that. It gives me this import option that says slides delimited by line break, 2 delimiters per slide.
That means 2 lines per slide.
Yeah, and we like to go with no more than 2 or 3 because it shows up better on the live stream if you only have 2 to 3 lines.
Right.
So we did a big overhaul back in the day and changed all of our ones that had more. Again, we don't want to override that control bar. Okay, and then I select the theme. In this case, I'm going to select the text auditorium. I'm going to add it to the songs area, but not in any playlist. I'm going to import it. I don't want to overwrite it over, so I'm going to say new version. Now it says beautiful one. You see that
Beautiful 1-1,
Yeah,
which means
yeah.
it's different than the original.
Yeah, exactly. Now you see that what it's done is it's added a verse followed by a chorus, verse 2, and then the bridge,
This was
right?
probably the standard way the original artist recorded
Yes,
it, I
right.
suppose.
But it doesn't mean that like we want to sing the choruses again and again, right? So how do we make it so that I get an arrangement that says I want verse 1 followed by a chorus, then verse 2 followed by a chorus, then the bridge, then chorus, chorus, okay? To do that, I right click on the song, right? And I have this arrangement. You see that there's a master that's there. All the other ones, they have arrangement and they're selected as GBC. So what I need to do is I need to create a new arrangement. I come up here to this arrangement button.
Oh, you know,
I come down to master and I say new arrangement. I like to call all of our arrangements GBC. We don't want to get into this game where there's Michael 1, Aaron 2, you know, like that, because then you never know which is the arrangement. So I always create a GBC. And what the GBC arrangement is, it's the normal arrangement you would use in a typical service. The master one is the ones that has just one set of slides for the chorus, one set of slides for verse 1. The default arrangement is the one that's going to assemble that into the ordinary way that you would sing it. So create a new GBC arrangement. Typically we start off with verse 1, and then verse 2, and then I'm going to drag in chorus, chorus, then at the end, chorus, chorus. But you're like, well, wait a minute. We don't have any intro or anything like that. Because we just imported the song fresh. So let's go back to the edit. I'm going to come down to the bottom. I'm going to add in a new slide, and I need 2 of them. I need the intro slide, so if the operator has a blank slide to click on, that will clear everything away. And I need the default CCLI one. So the CCLI one I want is the auditorium. You see it colored it purple because it added it to the bridge area, but I don't want to do that. So I'm going to come back to the show, and I realize I got to go back to the master arrangement here. And down at the bottom, here's the blank slide I added. I'm going to group this one and say I want it to be intro. And the second one, I'm going to group it, and I want to make it CCLI. Now you see that I've added these to the top area. So I'm going to come back to the GBC arrangement, and I'm going to add in the intro, the very beginning, and the CCLI. I'm going a little out of order from the way you might do it. Usually after I import a song, I would add these right away, but we wanted to get into the whole arrangement thing. But I would add these to the beginning of the song, and now I have my default arrangement. Finally, I have to add in the CCLI text. I'm going to come down here to CCLI, and usually we start off with the title right here.
You have to type it in?
I go over here to the information. So if you come to presentation,
okay.
It has it. It's going to be by Tim Hughes. We always add in a copyright, and I get the date from the copyright by usually this area. It doesn't always have it, in which case you do your best. Sometimes I look it up, sometimes I just say copyright, so at least it's there. And then we have to put our CCLI number in there. The CCLI number is not the CCLI number for the song. It's our CCLI number. 721. I'm flustered because I almost always remember it. But because I'm talking.
Number. I forget it sometimes.
Okay, so let's see. I'm going to edit it. Just go to, this is where the examples help.
Yeah.
725102, of course. Right. So 725102. Beautiful. It's beautiful. 1-1. You guys are very patient. 725102. And this is our CCLI number that indicates that we have the license to use this particular thing in-house. Finally, I have all the arrangements set. The only thing left to do is add the looks. For the intro, add action, make it blank, blackout, CCLI, add action, audience look, CCLI, and then all the rest of them, I add the action, audience look text. And that's how we make our songs. Do a quick check over here. Nothing shows a blazoning in the middle. We've done it correctly.
Okay. Now, you know how to...
I'm going to delete it, by the way. You good with this?
Well, before you take it away, you made a bunch of changes. Changed the look of all the ones from 3 on to the end. And I wasn't zooming in on your keyboard, but some people may not know how to select a bunch at one time. Can you show us how to do that?
Excellent question. So there's 2 ways of selecting. If I want to select individual slides one at a time, I click on the slide and I hold down the control, and maybe it's the command. Sorry,
that's right.
I was just helping with a Windows computer. the command button, okay, and you see it. This lets me grab individual slides. The second way is the shift button, and that lets me grab a selection of them. It will take the start and the end button. So what I do is I will take the first slide with the lyric and go all the way down to the bottom.
Scrolling to the end.
Yep, and I'll hold the shift, and then it grabs all the ones that I was selected on. And then when I right click, it does those. But the command is useful because when you're on a sermon and you're setting the looks for the references, the scripture, you want to select all of the scripture and give that a scripture reference, a reference look, and then you want to select all the main points and give that a main point look. They're different. So having that command where I select the ones I want is a nice capability.
Okay.